Today we're talking about something that doesn't get nearly enough attention in psychiatry, which is the rekindling effect. It's the reason some people relapse faster, crash harder, or experience symptoms that return stronger than before, even after long periods of stability. It's one of the most fascinating and sobering insights into how the brain remembers illness. The rekindling effect, sometimes called illness sensitization or episode kindling, describes a process where each episode of, say, mania or psychosis or of any mental illness, especially mood or seizure disorders, makes the brain more vulnerable to future episodes. Think of it like this. The first depressive episode might require a major life event to trigger it, but the second might take something smaller. By the third or fourth, the brain can spiral into an episode spontaneously without any external trigger at all. It's not just psychological, it's neurobiological. Each episode literally rewires the brain's threshold for stress and how much stress it can tolerate, the neurotransmitter balance, and electrical activity. The concept actually comes from epilepsy research in the 1960s and 70s. I first heard about this from my mother, who learned about it from a psychiatrist that she worked with for a long time. Scientists noticed that repeated electrical stimulation of certain brain regions, like the amygdala, caused progressively stronger and more easily triggered seizures. In 1976, psychiatrist Robert Post applied this same idea to mood disorders, especially bipolar disorder, proposing that mood episodes might follow a similar pattern of kindling. What he and others found was that the brain behaves like a memory organ, not just for facts or tests or experiences even, but also for emotional and neurochemical states. Every episode leaves a trace, a neural burn mark, if you will, that makes the next ignition easier. Here's where it gets really interesting. The limbic system, particularly the amygdala, becomes more reactive after repeated stress or affective episodes. The hippocampus, which normally regulates emotional responses, begins to shrink or lose inhibitory control. At the same time, glutamate, which is the brain's main excitatory neurotransmitter, becomes dysregulated, contributing to excitotoxicity and overreaction and overactivation. GABA and serotonin systems may downregulate, while dopamine pathways become hypersensitive to internal or external cues. This combination, heightened amygdala reactivity, weakened hippocampal inhibition, and neurotransmitter imbalance, creates a perfect storm. The brain's emotional fire alarms go off faster and louder than before. That's the rekindling effect in action. In mood disorders, this effect explains why early intervention is so critical. Patients with untreated or recurrent depressive or manic episodes are not just experiencing symptoms. Their brain circuitry is being trained toward instability. It's being rewired literally toward instability. It's why maintenance therapy matters, why staying on meds that are working matters, and not starting and stopping medications. Mood stabilizers, antidepressants, or psychotherapy aren't just about symptom relief, they're about neuroprotection. Similarly, in addiction, each relapse can rekindle the neural pathways of craving and reward learning. The dopaminergic circuits in the nucleus accumbens essentially remember the drug response and refire more efficiently over time. Even in trauma disorders, a related mechanism occurs. The more the brain is exposed to stress hormones like cortisol and norepinephrine, the more sensitized it becomes. Over time, it takes less and less to trigger a full autonomic response. Clinically, recognizing the rekindling effect changes how we approach relapse prevention. We stop thinking of episodes as isolated events and start viewing them as cumulative neurobiological injuries, which is what they are. That means early stabilization is not optional. It's protective. It's neuroprotective, meaning it protects your brain. Medication adherence does matter even when patients feel better, especially with mood disorders and bipolar disorder and bipolar 1 and mania. Psychotherapy must include relapse prevention strategies, identifying subtle prodromal signs before the full episode has a chance to hit or before the full episode ignites. And lifestyle stability like sleep, routine, nutrition, and healthy stress regulation become non-negotiable buffers against rekindling. Some research even suggests that agents like lithium, lamictal, or depakote may have direct anti-kindling properties, protecting neural circuits from exotoxicity and recurrence. If you zoom out, the rekindling effect tells us something profound about the human brain. It remembers pain. It learns patterns, not just of joy or love, but also of suffering. And unless we interrupt those patterns early, they reinforce themselves. But the same neuroplasticity that allows kindling also allows healing. The brain can relearn regulation, safety, and calm. It just takes consistent, gentle exposure to the right environments and the right supports. Rekindling teaches us that recurrence is not weakness, it's wiring, and wiring, thankfully, can be changed. And wiring can be changed. So when a patient says, I don't understand why this keeps happening, I was fine for years, we can answer with compassion and clarity, because your brain remembered the storm, but now, this time, we're teaching it the calm. If you found this interesting, like I always have since I was really young, stay tuned because I want to explore how stress sensitization overlaps with rekindling in trauma and mood disorders sometime soon. Until then, take care of your brain. It remembers everything. And I'll see you next time.